Reports are coming out that Joe Biden is considering Hillary Clinton for UN ambassador. Not joking, guys. They're saying that Hillary Clinton is being discussed for the UN ambassador, for the U.S. ambassador to the UN, I should say. So what does this mean? I think a lot of people are going to want to know, what does an ambassador do to the United Nations? How much influence do they actually have? And will this mean, is this sort of just a role for Hillary Clinton to be back into politics and accepting sort of a cushy job? Or does this actually mean she has some serious influence? And I got to tell you guys, this means more war. This will be an absolute position where, if Hillary Clinton is truly going to be in this position, she will have major influence in shaping the United States foreign policy. So a UN ambassador, when you think about their influence and their role, a lot of it just depends. So Donald Trump, actually, we all know Nikki Haley was the first ambassador. And when she left that post, Donald Trump actually downgraded the ambassador role from a cabinet level position to a non-cabinet level position. That was to signal that he wasn't taking the UN very seriously, or didn't really want to engage the United States in various discussions about the various issues that are going on around the world that could potentially engage the United States in more foreign intervention. And that the U.S., he was believing at this point, was going to operate on our own, doing what was best in the United States interest, which I think many of us want, right? We don't really want all of these continued wars. We don't need any more discussions of, oh no, we need to get involved over here in Libya. We got to do something about this Gaddafi guy because he's so bad. We got to take him out. We don't want to get involved in any more of that regime change or toppling of dictators, so-called dictators, or even if they are dictators. We don't really want, many of us Americans, the growing sentiment is we don't want to engage in any more of this because, for one, it hasn't resulted in anything good, first and foremost. And secondly, it just is a waste of our tax dollars when we could be putting that to use here in the United States on domestic issues, which we specifically and more importantly really need, especially right now. But with the Joe Biden appointing Hillary Clinton, this is going to be it's very likely that this will be returned back to a cabinet level position. And inside the UN, they look at the ambassador from the U.S. as the level of influence they have greatly depends on how much influence they believe that particular person has over U.S. foreign policy. So they say, okay, is this person just a messenger for the United States? Are they just delivering messages and sitting down in these meetings and saying, well, the United States stance on this is this? Or are they actually listening, engaging, and shaping the foreign policy for the United States? Some ambassadors have been, probably the current ambassador, because it is not a cabinet level position anymore. And I don't even know who it is that's sitting in that spot. It's been such a downgraded position that person is most likely just a messenger of the United States. However, somebody like Hillary Clinton, I think we can all understand, would not be just a messenger for Joe Biden. There's no way she would just be a messenger for Joe Biden. Hillary Clinton is absolutely going to be shaping U.S. foreign policy. So she is going to have this position potentially where she's going to be able to rub elbows with foreign leaders, rub elbows with other ambassadors from other nations, strong arm them, negotiate with them, and shape U.S. foreign policy. She will then be going back to Joe Biden and telling him what to do. And the UN will know this. The other nations will know this. They'll know that Hillary Clinton's not just a messenger for Joe Biden. And they're also probably going to realize that Hillary Clinton's not just taking her marching orders from Joe. She won't be. She's going to be shaping foreign policy. So this means we can expect a return to the warmongering ways of the Bush years and the Obama years. Donald Trump was the first president to not march us into a new engagement. So was he able to fully get us out of the current engagements? No, although there are reports that one of the reasons why he fired Mark Esper as the defense secretary was because Mark Esper was against the final removal of all the troops in Afghanistan. Trump, according to reports, wants those troops back home by Christmas, and he's getting a lot of pushback. People are saying, no, we need to keep some troops in Afghanistan. We can't just remove them all at once. And of course, keeping some troops in Afghanistan means that when Joe Biden takes over, he's going to have the ability to just ramp back up. If we're not gone, then he could say, well, we still have troops there. We just need to add some more because it turns out there's an increasing threat. Whereas if we were gone, to go back in is a political mess for Joe Biden. He would have to really justify to the American people why we're going back to a place we have left. If it's just ramping up and adding some more troops, people won't notice. So Trump apparently has been wanting to totally remove the troops out of Afghanistan by Christmas. That is one of the reasons why he got rid of Mark Esper. Now, with Joe Biden going to be taking over the Oval Office, Hillary Clinton potentially being discussed for ambassador. We also have Susan Rice, who's being discussed for Secretary of State. And we have Michelle Flournoy, who's being discussed for for the Secretary of Defense. So you're going to have these women and everyone's going to champion this. They're going to say, oh, isn't this wonderful? Our foreign policy is run by women. So we have made progress. We've made progress. And I guess you're right. We have. We've made progress. We've added these women into these warmongering roles, these warmongering women who will absolutely take us back into the center stage as strong-arming, bullying, and trying to remain militarily dominant around the world. That is the goal. So those of us who wanted less war and those who thought Joe Biden would maybe bring in less war, I think now might be feeling a bit, maybe shaken a bit about Joe Biden's proposed cabinet members, and Hillary Clinton now being discussed for UN ambassador means absolutely more war for the United States. I think we can expect that. She will be using her influence. She will be the one shaping policy. She will be able to meet with those foreign leaders and strong arm them or try to negotiate with them or build pacts in order to topple other governments because, oh no, there's a crisis we have to attend to. The United States can't allow this humanitarian crisis to continue. So we must go in and topple that regime. That is going to be the battle cry for the next 4 years with Hillary Clinton in charge of foreign policy. This also just goes back to what I've been saying all along. You know, I've been sounding the alarm on this with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I told you guys Kamala Harris was going to be the VP when they were saying, oh, who might be the VP? Who might be the VP? I told you it wasn't a question for me. It was Kamala Harris. She was, of course, going to be the VP because Kamala Harris was Hillary Clinton's pick for president. Hillary wanted Kamala Harris. She gave Kamala Harris all of her foreign policy advisors, including Michelle Flournoy, who is one of the architects for the idea behind preemptive strikes, going in and doing preemptive strikes. She advocates for preemptive strikes in North Korea, preemptive strikes probably taking out Maduro down in Venezuela, and going back in and toppling Assad in Syria. We can expect all of these things to be on the table under a Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton warmongering administration. So Kamala Harris is a puppet for Hillary Clinton. This is, I think, should be obvious to everybody. Kamala Harris has had no policy positions whatsoever that she's remained firm on throughout her entire campaign when she was running for president. And even now, she's flip-flop on absolutely everything. She's literally just being fed what to say. She says one thing and then her advisors say, oh, no, you said the wrong thing. Go back and issue a new statement. And she goes back and retracts and says something else. And it's because she's a puppet. If we want to talk about the real puppets, Kamala Harris is a complete puppet. And Hillary Clinton is her puppet master. And so Hillary Clinton is going to be forming the foreign policy for the United States. That's what's going to be happening here. She's going to be in a position of power. She's going to be running the show. Make no mistake about that. Thank you guys so much for watching the show. Please subscribe. Also, I do have an email newsletter to keep you informed, you know, just in case we're in an era where there's a lot of censorship. There's a lot of deplatforming. A lot of my friends have been deplatformed from this platform and, you know, from YouTube and from others for really telling the truth. I mean, even if people don't agree with it because it's not a mainstream narrative, at least they did have facts to back it up. You might not agree with their opinion or their analysis, but they were nonetheless deplatformed. It's made me very afraid. So I do have an email list that I've created that I plan to send you out a newsletter to, you know, worst case scenario, if I ever do get deplatformed, at least I would be able to reach out to you and let you know where I've landed. So please sign up for that email newsletter. That link is down below for you to keep you up to date with all of the stuff that's going on, because believe me, in these next 4 years, there will be a lot going on. Thank you so much for watching.